bowler is bowling, whether he's bowling at his best rhythm, whether he's getting the ball to come through to you, whether the spinner's getting the correct flight, whether he's actually getting the ball to spin. You can actually see the seam turning in the air, and I think you get a great sensation of what's going on out there, and I think, yes, you can be a great help to the captain.
Were you aware when you started, Alan Knott, the young keeper with Kent, that you did need courage? Did you see any accidents? Did you have a broken nose yourself? Or how are your fingers? I mean, these are legendary injuries to wicketkeepers, aren't they?
Yes, I've been very lucky personally with my hands. I must admit, I would love to put it down to technique, but I think you're born with strong hands, and I've been very lucky with that. So as far as hands goes, I've been fortunate. I've been hit in the face a few times. You can't avoid that. Keeping to somebody like Derek Underwood, who bowled exceptionally quickly for a spinner, balls are going to hit the top of the stumps and they're going to come up and hit you in the face. I lost half an eyebrow once, and the doctor said it would never grow back. Fortunately it did, so that I can be at good view for you here on the DV. But yes, I've had a few blows. One, I think, a few around the face, but none very, very serious. The worst I think I ever had was in the Adam's apple, where the ball hit the top of the stump, and I must admit, for a minute or so, I wasn't very good. Taken. Certainly see on that take the body looking to go out, looking for the outside edge. Very, very good indeed. Taken. Keep the body weight going out, Will. The leg side, that's it, it's good. Even if you've got to throw it back to the bowler, don't worry. Very good take. Taken. Interesting, Will, just to see those takes. The way your body weight keeps going that way, even though you've got to throw the ball back to the bowler. Terribly important. If I'm there taking the delivery, moving to the side, keep my weight going that way. A lot of people will stop themselves cold and just go to there, and if the ball goes a bit further, they won't be able to keep going. So keep that body weight going out. Don't turn the weight in, which some people do. That stops them going in that direction. Look for the ball striking the pad, looking for the outside edge, keep going. Even if it's a deliberate action, you did that very, very well. We'll have a couple more deliveries then. Well done. Well taken, Will. Just talking about moving our feet. If we're moving either to the offside or the leg side, just watching the way you took it there, foot movement. Coming out of the stance in a relaxed position there. As we move, moving our legs in what we call the chassis movement, in that fashion, which you do. Very good indeed. Slight method, we can change it. We can tend to actually come out of the stance position, turn and run towards the ball. So we've got that as a choice. Some keepers quite often use a combination of both, where they move with a chassis, then turn and run. So either method works very well. Couple more deliveries, Will. Looking very good there. Taken, like that outward movement. Just a bit more bounce in that delivery, Will. Got up about waist height. Yeah. He's getting loose, the bowler, I think. Ooh, well played, Stu. Just a little bit on our hands, Will, when we're taking the ball, whether we're stood back or stood up. Lovely to see there. Great catching position of your hands, because our hands need to be very safe. We want the fingers protected. And it's quite basic, but if our fingers point down when we're taking the ball, point to the side, using an English method of taking the ball, point up in that direction. So going to the left there, exactly the same. And we saw a take earlier on where you use what I would call the Australian method, catching with the fingers pointing up. But fingers pointing down, sides pointing up, pointing up. We never want to be in a position where our fingers point at the ball. Terrific resistance if that happens. That's when we break fingers. We don't want to do that. We might lose our place and the number 2 keeper gets in and we might never get back. So look after those hands. But taking the ball, what's nice to see, you're taking the ball on the line and height of the ball. You're looking to see where the line and height is. Hands giving back just a little bit on that line. We don't want too big a give. We see a lot of youngsters, they think, I've got to give and take the ball. They leave their hands here, sweep onto the line of the ball, then sweep off. So just think, hands on line, height, just a little give. Doing really well. Will, keep going.
Tell me a little bit of insight into the great partnership between Alan Knott and Derek Underwood.
Yes, I think any partnership, I think as a keeper, one of the big bits of advice I would give to anybody trying to make the grade as a keeper, you must get to know your bowlers inside out. If you can understand what they're going to bowl before they actually turn in their run-up, I think it's a great help. And with Derek Underwood, I could certainly do that. I can remember upsetting him very much at pre-season training. As he'd walk back to bowl, I would shout out, slower ball. And Derek would turn around and very annoyed. He said, how do you know that? I said, I do, Derek. And he was wild at me. He said, you can't possibly know. And then he would do it again. I'd say, seamer. And he said, well, that's impossible. And he realised what was happening. And he said, well, if you can do that, batsmen in a few years' time will be able to do the same. So he decided from then to put the umpire between his vision and the batsman when he ran into bowl. So I think you do need to get to know what the bowlers bowl, because it's very, very important. It's very important if you've got a spin bowler who bowls a seamer or a ball that swings. If you know when that's coming, it's a tremendous advantage.
It's terribly discouraging for a wicketkeeper, isn't it? There's just one position in the team to fill. It's rather like the goalkeeper in football. I guess a lot of young keepers get discouraged if they're second choice.
Yes, that is very, very hard. All you can do is push and hope that your opportunity comes. As you say, it can be a dangerous position, keeping wicket. And as you look around county cricket at the moment, there are a few keepers out of the game at the moment, and keepers do get injured, so your opportunity might well come. I think the big thing is be ready for that opportunity to come, grab it when it comes, and who knows, if you play well, you might keep your position in the side. Well taken. That really is a hard length delivery to take. Wicket keeping's all about length of deliveries when you're stood up. That was a really nasty length. That's slightly easier, quite a short length, so much easier take for the keeper. Keep it going, Nick. Well kept, Nick, there. Just a couple of points on stances. Just when we're standing back there, stances can vary. One thing I noticed a lot when I started, Keith Andrew, when he stood back, we talked about coming out of the stance when we were stood back. Keith Andrew, in fact, didn't go down. He kept in that fashion, just ready to take the delivery. And I think a lot of keepers in the modern game have done that. Jack Richards certainly did it when he kept for England. David Ripley of Northants certainly does it now, Carl Cricken. So that's a new stance in the game, and I don't see anything wrong with that at all. If the keeper wants to stand back in that position, that's fine. Stood up, not so easy to do. Just a couple of points about the stance there. I just, when I kept, like to get my head as close as I could to the stumps as far as depth went. I didn't want to be in a position where my head or my knee hit the stumps, but I felt the closer I could get in, the better. We need comfort in the stance. We want our eyes level. We want to be evenly balanced, ready to move in either direction. Hands, I think as a basic point, your hands can be together in the catching position, but three of the greatest keepers I've seen stood back didn't use that stance. In fact, Wally Grout quickly just used that stance. Jimmy Binks, one of the great keepers, stood up, used that stance. Keith Andrew, another great keeper, stood up to wicket, stood in that fashion. But as a basic idea, hands together, feet just comfortably apart. I feel if they can be reasonably apart, it gives you a nice base in which to move on. If your feet are close together, I feel you've always got to move them. So feet nice and comfortably apart. Most keepers outside off stump at top level hardly move their legs at all for basic deliveries just outside off stump. So nice, comfortable stance, ready to take the delivery. Two good takes there early on, Nick. Good luck.
Cheers.
Keep going. Taken, Nick. Interesting there, just Nick likes his head reasonably wide in the stance position. I'd try and bring him just a little bit closer. A couple of points for that. If the ball bounces on you, if you stand wide, your body can get a little bit behind the ball. If you're in close, it's much easier for the ball that bounces to turn your hip and shoulders ready to take that ball that bounces. Something like Derek Underwood, when he bowled for Kent in England, suddenly the ball would bounce. You can get the hip and shoulder out of the way, taking the ball, fingers pointing out, keeping it in a nice safe position. When we move to the offside there, I feel it's very important to move straight or slightly back. I just feel that that keeps your hip and shoulders in a good position. If we turn in towards the ball, very, very difficult to keep our head facing the ball and our hands facing the ball as well. Most people, when they turn in, tend to turn their hands in, head in, and it makes the chance of catching the ball not so good there. So I would think try and keep the hands, head facing the ball, move the legs in line with the bowling crease there, or slightly back. Don't be worried if it's slightly back, because the inside leg will always stay near to the stumps, ready for the stumping. So that's the position, wide ball, hands onto the line of the ball, hands onto the height of the ball, taking it in a position with our hands and head facing the ball, never be turned in. It's very difficult to keep the hands and head facing the ball in that direction. Well done, Nick. I think we're going to work leg side now. Good luck. Taken, Nick. Nasty delivery there. Taken. Taken.
Now, is equipment important? Obviously, the gloves are the key factors here.
Yes, gloves are absolutely vital. I used to take them home most nights when I played. I think you just get them, they've got to be just like your hands, and I think that's terribly important. I know some club keepers might just put the gloves away in the cricket bag at the end of the match on Sunday and not see them again till Saturday, and I think in a way that's a great shame, because they'll only get a little bit hard in that sort of situation. If you can take them home, look after them, keep them supple, have a few catches, even if it's in the armchair at night, I think it keeps the gloves in good form. I think very much you've got to look after the gloves, make them part of your hand, and they become second nature to you. Nothing worse than seeing a keeper when you know that he can't move the gloves, he's out there and he's just putting the gloves in the way, hoping the ball sticks.
I've got this wonderful image of your lovely wife lobbing the ball into the gloves after close of play back home.
Mind the china.
But that is dedication. That's also a great affection for your equipment, isn't it?
Yes, you've got to be comfortable with all equipment. I think if I looked at the second item, really, I'd look at footwear. If you're playing cricket now at top level, you can be out there for 6 or 7 hours keeping wicket, and you don't want sore feet in any way whatsoever. You've got to be happy with the footwear you wear. I used to try and change my cricket boots every session when I came off for lunch and tea, so that they were fresh on my feet, and they're very, very important part of your equipment. If you've got painful feet, you start to limp, you'll get slow in your movements, and a chance could go missing. Nick, interesting to see the pads there, nice and short. Nice and light, feel comfortable in them?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, in my day they were a little bit heavier and slightly different, probably a little bit longer. I think maybe, I shouldn't say it, but I think I was about the first to use boys' pads to get a shorter pad into it. I think lightweight is very important. I must admit, I just like the top of the knee or above the knee protected as well. I'd find it very tender if I got hit just above the knee, but I can understand using them for lightness. They certainly make the day. If you're out there for 7 hours sometimes, it must make it a lot easier. Just a couple of points there, offside, as well as leg side. If I'm looking to take the ball in any direction, ideally I'm trying to bring my hands up just under the pitch of the ball. Not all keepers do that, so don't get too worried if your hands are actually off the ground before the ball pitches, as long as you've got enough play in your arms to get your hands low. So hands ideally come in just under the ball as it comes towards you. We can use that going leg side. Another point, when we're actually taking the ball, if we're coaching youngsters, I do think it's very important to get them to concentrate on actually catching the ball. Think edge all the time, think edge all the time. If you start to think too much about the stumping, it can be a very dangerous thing, because as soon as a young lad thinks about stumping, he tends to take his hands off the line of the ball, sweep his hands onto the line of the ball and through. So think catch. Nick didn't know he hasn't. Oh, I can go for the stumping now, because your speed of reaction will come after you've taken the delivery. Moving leg side, I'll bring Stuart, the batsman, in there just for a while. And I might use a cricket ball if we've got one as well. I don't know whether Mr. Radley's got one there, in fact, at the moment. I don't think he has. I'll get a cricket ball. Come in, hold on. I'll bring a cricket ball in. Derek Underwood, I'll go back to Derek Underwood. Quite a good left-armed bowler, pitching the ball about leg stump on a turning wicket. Now that delivery, if it turns, could beat off stump. If it goes straight on, could go down the leg side. So I take up my stance position. I like my head close to the stumps. I like to think that he's trying to bowl towards the off stump there. I can see that ball pitch now. So I'm looking to see that ball. I can see it go. In my mind, I've logged the line of the ball if it goes straight on. I need to do that all the time. As the ball's coming down, it's like a computer. I can see the line, I know the line, I know where to finish up. Ball's pitched, I can see it's going straight on. I used to just put my left leg slightly across and then bring my hands across in that position and look for the ball again when you get leg side. Try not to turn in. If you turn in, your head gets left behind the batsman, hands turned in, head turned in. Go in a straight line, look at the ball, go straight. My head's facing the ball, my hand's facing the ball. Just once more there. Left foot across, and I just chassis across to take the ball. I'm looking to put my outside leg onto the line of the ball, take my hands against the leg, against the thigh. If it bounces, I can get my hip out of the way to take it in that fashion. If I go too far, I get behind the ball, I'm then getting in a dangerous position where my fingers might point towards the ball. So just once more there, sight the ball, move quickly, take the ball. Remember, take the ball before you go for the stumping. Nick, good luck.
Alan Knott, fit to be ranked among the finest wicketkeepers in cricket's history. His uncanny anticipation and eye-to-hand coordination, combined with a strict physical fitness regime, made Alan a perfect example of wicketkeeping at its best. Jonty Rhodes is a South African whose name stands for brilliant fielding. As soon as the young man from Natal took his place in the South African side, his speed and athleticism in the outfield were obvious. Jonty works hard at those skills, looking forward eagerly to seeing the ball coming his way and getting annoyed with himself when he misses a run-out. His throwing has many cricket lovers recalling the name of that other former Springbok, Colin Bland. Jonty Rhodes is a thoroughly modern cricketer in an era which has taught the old a few lessons about the sometimes neglected skills of fielding. He frequently gives tutorials to schoolboys throughout South Africa.
I've grown up in a sporting household, really. Both my parents have been very sport keen, and they've been really supportive and very encouraging. And I've just played as many sports as possible until I got to a stage where I had to choose one. I've managed for a while to play both. I played cricket and hockey for a while. But now it's got to a stage where cricket's dominating.
Where do you think you got your athleticism from?
Well, I'm really, it's the build I have. I mean, with my father too, I don't know whether to thank or curse for. I've got really short legs, a bit of a stocky behind, and that's where the agility comes from, I think. You know, being low, having low centre of gravity, being low to the ground, and that's one thing people have recognised or have noticed. Getting dirty, diving around, and it's easy for me being a short guy. You know, everybody worries, seems surprised that I can get down and get up so quickly, but when you're short and your legs are not sort of 6 foot the other end of your head, it's really easy to get up and down. So for me, that's been my major asset, really. The game actually starts before we get out in the field, just to make sure that when you are playing, you don't want to pick up any injury of any sort, because these days the competition is really stiff. think of international cricket, you're playing 3-4 months straight on. There's no ways you want to pick up any sort of injury that could leave you out of the team, because there's 3 or 4 other guys who want your place. So I start with a fairly basic stretching routine that just covers the hamstrings, the groin, and the calf muscles, because that's all your explosive power in the field, and those are the muscles you use a lot. And so I like to make sure that those are pretty warm, stretched, and flexible. What I basically do is just move from side to side, make sure the groin is loosened, because when you're fielding, you're taking off different directions, and the groin muscle takes a bit of a strain. Just move on to the hamstrings. Just basically want to loosen them. And this is a routine you should do probably every day, just to make sure the hamstrings are strengthened and are stretched. Mustn't leave out the thigh muscle. As a fielder, this is mainly your strengths, especially fielding in the covers, backward point, ability and agility. So mobility and agility, those are the key words.
Jonty, who taught you?
Well, my father had played a really big part in it. At home, when I was a youngster, we had a really long passageway, and we used to concentrate on using the left arm with a tennis ball in the passage. Broke a few paintings and a few windows, didn't make Mum too happy. But that's how I grew up with cricket. We had a tennis court at home, and we played more cricket on the court than tennis. So I've had basics drummed into me for quite a while, although often people reckon that my basics aren't quite up to it. I think my father's to blame for that.
Was there a fielder whom you especially admired?
You know, people often compare me to Colin Bland, and I'm not even in the same class. You know, I could never, people ask, I mean, my schoolboy hero has always been Peter Kirsten, and people say, well, you got the likes of Barry Richards, Colin Bland in the fielding department, why weren't they your heroes? They were in a class above anything I could aspire to. I mean, Barry Richards as a batsman is untouchable for me. Colin Bland as a fielder, I could never get to that sort of level. But Peter Kirsten, also, he's fairly short. He's about the only guy on the team I can look down on. And he really inspired me. He's very gutsy. Every time he's played, he's had a broken nose or a black eye or taken balls on the ribs. And just his attitude in the fielding and the batting is really, I've admired him for that. What I'm doing now is just warming up my arm and my shoulders. Just getting the arm loose, throwing the ball into the stumps. Especially in the colder climates, you've got to make sure your shoulder is not too stiff when you're throwing. Running from side to side stretches the groin as well. Keeping an eye on the ball. I'm watching the ball better into my hands. What I'm trying to do, especially at backward point, you're trying to anticipate the direction the ball's coming. Okay. Oh, all right. What I try and do when I throw, especially backward point area, is a run-out position. So if I'm throwing from here, it's pretty inaccurate, as you saw. That's one aspect of the game you really got to work on. For a really accurate throw, you pitch, it's like a baseball pitch over the top of the shoulder. But if you're in the backward point here, what you want is a quick release. So by throwing it from here, you can throw it seconds or fraction of a second after picking it up. But as part of the game, it's a fairly inaccurate throw. So if you want to throw it like that, you got to work really hard. As you can see, I've just thrown it down the third man or fine leg. Okay. That's better. On the ball. Drop. Okay, one more. That's better. Now, if you're fielding a bit deeper on the outfield, if you're saving the twos, or if you're fielding in the covers and it's got past you and you're turning, you've got to chase it, and you want a good, firm, hard, accurate throw, then you've got to come over the top. All right, let's try that. You can see the accuracy already, it's a lot better. Okay, that's all you want. It's not as quick as a throw under here, but over the top you definitely got the accuracy, and over a longer distance you got more power this way. Right, same again. Okay, a lot more accurate and a lot firmer as well. Once more. Right, as you can see there, my accuracy was far improved, but the release might not be as quick. But if you're on the outfield and you've got a good arm and you can throw it firmly, if you hit it, the chap hits it to you on the boundary and he's thinking of taking it too, he'll see you and he knows the last time you threw it in it was right here and he won't chance it. Okay, but as soon as you pick up the ball and you're throwing it wildly, especially in one-day cricket, he'll take you on. So in the outfield, just remember, come over the top and that's all your accuracy. Okay, you're leading with the left arm or the right arm if you're left-handed, and that's your pointing hand. As long as you've got that in the direction and you're over the top, guarantee the ball's going to go in the right place.
Aggression is therefore a main part of your game. Can that apply to fielding?
Yeah, I take it personally when I get out in the field. I don't like the ball going past me. And I think it's really important that when you are fielding, not to sit back and just take things for granted. Too many people don't realize that you're going to spend half the time fielding. And if you aren't enjoying it or out there with a purpose, you're going to waste half your cricket life. And I go out there with a set mission. And that is to take on the batsman and try and dominate. And I don't know if it's aggression, but it's definitely getting involved. Okay, another aspect of the game, if you're a fielder, it's not just about saving runs, it's also about taking wickets. And that's part of the game I really think is vital, not just through catches, but through run-outs and saving the one. And a backward point in the covers, you've got to anticipate. I've been watching the Australians play now, and they dab and run the ball really well. Okay, it's not just a good batting between the two batters, they've got a good understanding. So it's really vital that as a fielder, you get in there and disrupt their rhythm. Okay, you've got to be mean, you've got to be aggressive. It's not good just standing here and defending your area. You've got to get there and attack the opposition's area. Okay, so if somebody dabs the ball and run, if you're in the covers, backward point, square leg, at mid-wicket, it's up to you to save that one. You can put the batsman under pressure, and you've got to believe it, they'll make communication mistakes. Okay, so if he drops it and runs, then you've got to come in quickly, and you've got no time to get the ball or your arm up above your shoulder or from the side. And straight away, it's just a flip pass into the keeper or at the stumps. Okay, so we'll try and demonstrate that now. Okay, what I'm trying to concentrate now is getting to the ball as quickly as possible and a clean pickup. But it's no good getting there quickly and then fumbling it. The main thing here is actually stop the run. If the guy will see you coming in quickly, he won't run. Okay, I think it's a bonus here if you hit the wickets, you're only seeing one stump. And it's something you really got to work on. You get one wicket up, and you got to keep rolling at it. Actually, what you got to do is, I found I wasn't doing it until the World Cup started. I was picking up the ball, and before actually sighting the stumps, I was letting it go. Okay, I was sacrificing that accuracy just to get it in quickly and full speed. So the important thing is, if you can get there quickly, take another step steady and make sure you got eye contact with the stumps. But it's really important. I mean, it's a basic setup. If you haven't got the ball, you can't hit the stumps. Okay, so there's three processes you got to do. You got to get in quickly. You got to make sure you got the ball in your hand first, and then get eye contact with the wicket. Okay, let me try it again. All right. When I'm fielding, I go out there with a purpose. I want the ball to come to me the whole time. Okay, it's no good going out there and trying to hide from the ball. You've got to want it to come to you, and you've got to make it your personal mission. If it gets past you, it's not going to reach a boundary. Okay, it might mean getting your pants dirty, getting a few grass burns, but what the heck. Okay, this is for your team, and it's really important. If the ball's going there and you can't get it, you've got to try really hard. Okay, the show's not over, all right, till the fat lady sings. Just make sure she doesn't sing in your covers or past your backward point. Okay, got to show a little bit of commitment when you field. It's not all about taking catches and easy run outs. It's about getting grubby and doing a bit of hard work. All right. Oh. Ah,
It occurs to me
my
that
left hand.
plenty of schoolboys can practice properly, take their catches, make their throws to the keeper, but come the match situation, when the fur is flying,
Yeah.
things go wrong. Now, what makes someone an exceptional fielder in matches?
Well, I really do believe in the practicing. If you groove it enough, obviously, if you're out there, my first game was against Australia in the World Cup. And from playing in front of 15,000 people, we ran onto a field with 45, 50,000 at Sydney. And that is, it's quite awe-inspiring. And for a moment, it does take you back. But as long as you can get out there and we would advise just to do a lap, even a lap around the field almost, and just look at the crowd in the eye. Maybe if you're a schoolboy and you're starting and you're in the first cricket team or you're starting in your club, there isn't that big crowd, but there are still people out there and you're wanting to impress. It's important to get that aspect of somebody watching you, get it behind you, and then get on and do what you can do best. Okay. Ah! All right, being lazy. Extra yard closer. All right, go. Hi. Tired and lazy. Yeah. Okay, the basics for catching applies anywhere, I think. All right, let's see if I can talk you through it. Okay, I'm watching the ball all the way, keep my head still and getting underneath it. All right. So, that's fine, thank you. Okay, I'm watching it as it comes with the bat. I've got the line underneath it, eyes on the ball. Okay, I'm caressing the ball right into my hands. Let's focus on that. Okay, I'm watching it, underneath it, and I'm bringing it into me. Okay, there's no snatching of the ball. Right, soft hands, the ball come into your chest. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, I'm watching it, my head's underneath it. It's underneath it now. Okay, softly. All right, when you're in the outfield, it's really difficult to run backwards and catch a ball. Okay, your head's moving quite a bit, so just make sure when you're coming into it, don't overrun it. Okay, you're watching the line of the ball. As it leaves the bat, you're underneath it, you can come forward. Okay, what I try and do is catch the ball here, because then I know it's right in front of my face. Right, but if the ball, you get to a situation where it's gone too far and you can't quite get there, then I've got to bring the hands in front. But the whole time, okay, I'm watching the line and the eyes are on the ball. Let's try it again. Okay, that's a bit better. I'm watching it all the way in. Right. So the whole time, even when you're running left and right, it's really important to keep your eyes on the ball the whole time. Don't let your head bob up and down too much. Okay, I sacrifice sometimes. I go down and move my head slightly, because if it's in this position, it's quite awkward. You're not sure whether to take it here or like this. And I find if I drop slightly to the one knee, I'm meeting a chest on. And that's where I feel comfortable. That's the secret of fielding. You've got to do what you feel comfortable at.
When you have a reputation as an outstanding fielder, does that mean to say that there's extra pressure on you when you yourself perform?
I've been really fortunate up until now. Everything I've done, I've been able to enjoy it. And I think that's really why I've been fairly successful so far, is that I've gone out there really to enjoy myself, and everything has happened has been spontaneous. I've just been going with the flow, really.
So to sum up, the message is be aggressive and enjoy it.
That's it. If you can't do it with a smile on your face, don't do it at all. All right, that's the secret to my fielding. I'm out there to enjoy myself, but I'm out there to be really competitive and to dominate the batsman. Good luck.
Jonty Rhodes, following in the footsteps of that other wonderful outfielder and fellow South African, Colin Bland. As cricketers spend at least half of their active life in the field, as Jonty has proved, that extra time spent practicing this vital aspect of the game will inevitably lead to more victories for your side. high percentage of catches occur close to the bat, confirming the great value to a team of those members who are able to hold on to these split-second reaction chances. Ian Botham is an outstanding example of this, spending most of his fielding career at slip.
Who else would you think would catch that?
Always want the ball to come to you. While away from the wicket, move in when the bowler nears the end of his run-up, so giving yourself a flying, anticipatory start. Wherever you are fielding, never forget, catches win matches. They certainly do. Just think how much a superb catch will boost the spirits of the bowler, your captain, and the rest of the team. Coordination, speed of reaction, a wide arc of bodily movement, and soft hands are all required skills needed to turn the fast flying edge into a dismissal. Concentration, balance, practice, these are the code words of one of the game's great close catchers, Vivian Richards.
I believe a good close to the wicket fielder is the one who totally concentrates on the fact that he believes that every ball that's bowled, he's going to take a catch. And that's the one I believe, the one who stands in there all the time.
And at first slip, would you watch the ball come down the pitch?
Well, I've never actually, I've always, I can only give you my view of when I'm standing at first slip or second, that I like to watch the bowler run up. And especially when you had someone like Michael Holden running up, you sometimes used to see. You can tell just the way he was flowing when the ball was going to beat the bat. And I always thought that when Michael Holden and when our guys were bowling, that they were going to beat the bat all the time. And I was looking for catches. And this is how I think you try and prepare yourself. You should never think, well, oh, half an hour have gone and nothing have come here to me. I'm not in the game. As you say that, that's when you get into the game. And you will never ever be prepared for that particular situation. But you should always think at all times that the ball is going to find the edge of the bat if you're in the slip. So which means you are mentally and physically prepared at all times. Yeah, I do believe, Ali, whenever you're in the slips and you're facing whatever, they don't have to be the quickest sort of bowlers in the world for you to believe that you're going to have something coming at you all the time. What I do believe, it's when you're in the slips, you should be nice and balanced. Balance have always been one of the hallmarks, I believe, of any sports. And for you to be as still as possible, and not because you think that you may have a bowler that doesn't look like he's beating the bat or anything like that, that you should relax yourself. That's when things start to happen. So I do believe that you should be concentrating at all times that that bowler is capable of beating or finding the edge of the bat at all times, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to try a few and see exactly if it works, all right?
All right, yeah.
Good, man. Good luck, huh? Ooh. Wow, that's a nice catch. The beauty about those particular catches, all right, is that when you are down and it comes anytime above your chest level, it's always pretty difficult to catch, and which means you must have good hands in order for you to adjust from this position for you to get here. I enjoy that one. Try that again. Huh? Yes, well, we saw two different types of catches there. One which was here and one which was down there. What I think is it was important as well, we were moving nice and quickly, and most of all, you were well and balanced, and your hands were pretty all right as well, too. They were in a good, best position for me to think, I think, to take the catch. Good luck, man. With that,
Do you look at the ball or the bat?
Well, it depends. What makes you comfortable? What do you normally look at?
Bat.
You look at the bat?
Yeah.
Continue looking at the bat, so long as you keep catching them that way. Huh? This one is mine.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yes, that's it, that's it. You keep doing the things that's obviously natural to you, and you're going to enjoy it. Huh?
If you're fielding in the gully, would you just watch the bat only?
I feel that because of the fact that it's a various position, you're going maybe further around now in a sense of that particular circle. Yeah, I think you can, it depends what suits you. Whatever suits you. You kind of say, well, oh, I've got to watch the bat. Some guys like to see the guy run up, which gives them that rhythm. the sort of rhythm where they get down at the same time when that particular bowler is just about to deliver. Yeah, you get your rhythm that way and you crouch the same way and you feel a little bit more balance. Yeah, I believe that whatever suits you and whatever I believe that you have been successful with, don't lose it. Wow, that was even a quicker catch, huh? But you were moving nice and easy, you know, so which means you're concentrating quite hard. And I think this is what you got to do at all times, especially when you're on the slips. Very important. You can't afford to think, well, what I'm going to have for dinner tonight, all right? While you're in there, or else you'll be dinner. Keep going now. Good. That's nice, that's nice. You're looking good, Ali. Good movement. You have wonderful movement. You know, that looks good, looks good. Yes, that's it. That was a quick catch. And you took that above maybe your eye level as well, too.
Yeah.
So this means it must have gone past you when you took it. But your hands were in a wonderful shape, you know, and it looks like you got nice, soft hands anyway. This is what the game is all about, huh? Good, man. Yeah, it looks like you got nice and relaxed hands. Because sometimes you find some guys, when they're in the slips and they hear the nick, they try and rush forward.
Yeah,
And sometimes snatch at it. Yeah. I don't want that. That's when you start doing damage to your fingers, and we do need our fingers later on in life. So it's important, if you can be nice and balanced, and just allow it to come to you, and then you say, that's my baby, you know? Yeah. Very important, all right? You see, when you're on your toes at all times, you are in all sort of positions for you to go wherever you want to go, you know? Yeah. And that is why you're pretty light. You're not pretty firm and stuck to the ground like, well, you're a bulldozer or anything like that, and you got to start your engine up for you to be moved. It's pretty important. You're doing well because of the fact you're on your toes and you can do whatever. You can go wherever. A little bit like feather steer, I think, you know? Keep going.
Viv Richards, not only a master batsman, but also an inspiration in the field. Close to the bat, his quicksilver reactions and his safe hands made the most of the fast flying chances offered from the battery of West Indian fast bowlers under his command.